Good morning.
Good morning, buddy.
And how are you?
I'm doing okay, man.
I'm going to
It's
put
a
my headphones in just so I don't get.
Yeah.
So, moment, bear with me.
It's amazing walking across walking across from the house over here this morning. It feels like May, and we're in the
Dude,
middle of
I don't
February.
understand what's going on because, hang on a moment. Uh, because, we have to drive, it's like not an hour, 45 minutes, whatever it is. One moment, I'm going to change. Oh, it's and you. I got to change a setting real quick here. But we're going to Erie. My sister-in-law's in the hospital, and um, we're leaving. Now, mind you, it was 62 degrees when we got there.
It's crazy.
It's absolutely insane. And so we're leaving, and it's now about 50 degrees, 55 degrees, because now it's nighttime, right?
Right.
And all of a sudden, my wife notices these plants growing. Now, flashback a few years ago, my daughter just celebrated her birthday. She's a day before Valentine's, which is kind of cool.
Right.
She's 30 years old. And so 30 years ago, she was born, and we brought her home, however many days that is, couple days, whatever it is. And during that time, it was a snowstorm blizzard of
Right.
93, and it was below zero. Okay. So to think that it was 62, I have never seen this in February. I have seen stuff like this in March.
Right. Right. Yeah, March is a little different.
Yeah, but not February.
Me neither.
So there's
Me
that. So today, hey, by the way, I'm going to give just a heads up to the boss members. So one moment. How's your week? Anything big? Any news?
Nah, I probably biggest news is my son's birthday is tomorrow. So you know what I mean. It's that kind of week.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah. Valentine's Day and Henry's birthday, so it's parents are coming up, so always that kind of stuff.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was my daughter's. We normally we've got a lot going on in February, but hey, speaking of which, we are going to talk about, flushing out ideas. How do you go about it? More importantly, how do you implement it? We're in a launch of a new program. Obviously, we were testing things with Linkboard. Now we have the full version coming. It's going to get better and better and better at time, especially with the AI. And I'm going to talk about flushing out ideas because in the last few weeks, we're going to be on somebody's podcast too, so that's kind of cool. But
awesome.
We have a lineup. Lori's getting a lineup of people coming on. There was something that we were involved in about 7 months ago, which is crazy to think, maybe a little longer than that. Finally, that's coming to a head. Really? What it is they got their idea. So the keyword there is idea became better than they thought it was going to be, meaning they got better results than they thought. Sometimes that's great news, and sometimes it can be bad in the way, can you handle it?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So let's use one of the products that we have. Oh, I've got the wrong board up there. One of the products that we have is Grub Guys. And for those that are tuning in, we'll talk about that in a moment. How we came up with the idea, how we fleshed out the idea, how we implemented the idea, how we brought the idea to the marketplace, and then the juxtaposition, meaning you got to figure things out.
Right.
Things that you may not even know. Also, I'm going to share this real quick. So one moment. So why don't we start with you, D? Like you've had, Loud and it changed. But what are some of the things that you feel that changed for you?
You got to realize that year 2 of something's going to be completely different than year 1.
Right.
And you got to know that going in, you know, and be willing to be fluid. Like, you know, see what works, see what doesn't. Obviously, you're going to go down the path that works, you know, and that's going to change how you do things, you know, or what you carry or what you sell, or, you know, how you present it, you know. So it depends on what you're doing, but you can't be so rigid, you know.
Right.
You know, I mean, obviously, if everyone that knows us knows we start out in a completely different field than what we do now.
Yes.
You know, and you know, be willing to embrace and make that change.
That's a good point. And that's really where it's at. By the way, if anyone has a question, we're going live on a few few platforms, including friends and family. There's a reason for that. Facebook has changed, and it's so amazing now. Even though a lot of people have left it, or especially like under 30,
Yeah.
they may still be on Facebook, but not as much. They like Instagram, TikTok, stuff like that. Our market is really 30 on up for the most part.
Yep.
Ironically, though, we can almost say 25 and on up, because there's a lot of entrepreneurs today that it's starting out young.
Or younger. Yeah, no, for sure. And we're definitely seeing that, you know.
Yeah, and it's good, you know, entrepreneurship. This is what made this country. Like, you know, it's funny. We've talked about this in the past, but what a lot of people don't understand is most of the multimillionaires in the country, or the large business owners, or the highest entrepreneurship in our country. The key word there is our country. It's their country too, and it is first time immigrants. That's insane. And
Right.
why is that? It's because they have the blinders on. They're not listening to the rhetoric, or the banter that, you know, that it's hard or it's this. They already knew that coming here, but they wanted the opportunity, and they just ran for it. Okay.
Oh,
And
yeah.
this is why.
Right. I mean, you know, they came, you know, they're still chasing a dream, and they're working hard after it, you know.
Yeah. And even my brother and I, when we were younger, we were so like into the entrepreneurship even then, wanting our own company. My grandfather owned a company that inspired us, which was a furniture factory. But at the end of the day, it was just ingrained in me that this is what I wanted to do. Prior to this, we were talking about like starting out. You know, I started out I had to. My wife and I had Adam, our oldest, and I was in a factory. Nothing against, you know, but I hated it. Like, but I worked my butt off, because while I was there, I believe in giving value. They're paying me. So I went above and beyond. I always did. Even when I worked in restaurants, I loved it. I like the busyness of a business. And some of the people that are working from home now, they're kind of missing a little bit of that. You can gain it a different way.
Right.
But at the end of the day, that you can make a huge difference. And being a creator, that's one of the things that I think is great. So you and I, one of the many, but you and I together, we decided on like Grub Guys. And the very first thing was the product. It was amazing. And then we're like, Sam's Club left. This is a big, like a Costco's type thing, if anyone doesn't know what it is. But it's kind of like a Costco. So it was going out.
Right.
And that's when we all got the like, hey, wait a minute.
Well, you know, that was a combo of the pandemic coming in.
Right.
You know,
well, that was before the pandemic.
Right. Yeah. Sam's Club was before the
years.
pandemic, but
Yeah.
I think the pandemic, we got the idea when Sam's Club left, but we put it to action.
Yes. Yeah, because
Yeah.
we had a couple business partners that didn't work out, and one of the business partners wanted it to be an online grocery store. We're like, no, we
Right.
want to specialize in one thing.
That's right.
And then which was the right way of going. And good morning, Bert. Good morning. Facebook user, don't know who you are. Good
Yep.
morning.
Yep. Ken.
Oh, good morning, Ken. On my side, I don't see some of
Right.
them. So at the end of the day, you know, so that's where it is though. And where a lot of people get hung up though, is the fact that they get stuck in the creation, or they get stuck in fleshing the idea out. And we're going to talk about that now. How do you flesh out the idea? I know that even like in BedLocker, which is a video CDN, it's a little more technical, a little harder, right? Obviously, it takes a little longer to get something like that going because it's software.
Right.
And it's what's called or referred to as SaaS, software as a service. And we're going to come back to why I love SaaS. And some of you, including like, I have somebody that's a female, and she's like, I've been thinking about, I've got this, but I'm thinking about having it as an app. What do you think? Go, absolutely, especially because of what it is. And she says, but here's the problem. I have no idea. That right there is part of fleshing it out.
Right.
And the first thing you need to do is flesh out the concept, right? You got to, like Rub Guys, we fleshed out the concept. What's it going to look like? Who are we going to serve? Who's going to be our avatar? Well, we knew that it's somebody that has an expensive taste, that's willing to pay more for quality, that wants restaurant quality steaks, if you will, or prime rib or whatever it is, right?
Right.
And we knew, so we saw that. So you got to know who your avatar is. Who's the person you're going to serve? For you, good morning, Keith. We are doing well. Who you're going to serve. We've also, not to talk something negative. Well, it's not negative. I mean, but we've mentioned about cemeteries, of how many ideas possibly died with them, right? And just recently, I lost my oldest brother. I mean, the one that I lived with, anyway. I have an older brother as well, that from my dad's previous marriage. But my older brother, him and I were like best friends. We were brothers, of course, but we would come together with ideas all the time. Every week, we talked about things like that. He was very creative, but he never did the thing. He never got there. And that bothered me a little bit. So I'm going to put, from this point forth, it's times 10 for me, Right. They always say through your own eyes, right? So I want to carry on a couple things that he was all about. So even that, like, you could be somebody that has an organization that you want to start, that maybe you're going to create something that's going to make a difference. Well, that's another creative, right? So creative, there's so many things that you can do, but I got to tell you to do this first. Choose one. Start making a list. We've talked about this in the past, but I can't say it enough. No, you got to have a list, and you got to have the one that is the burning desire that you got to go. Norm, Katie, good morning. The burning desire. So for me, it was business turnaround. So that was my first entrepreneur thing. So I came from Prudential Financial. I loved it there, and I learned a lot. You have to be licensed and all that in the securities industry. I learned financial planning. I learned a lot that's really going to help and shape me. But I really loved negotiating. I loved negotiating against attorneys, and I had a knack for it. So I'm like, okay, how could I make this a thing?
Right.
And we all are test dummies to start with, right? So for us, you and I being creatives, especially with Linkboard, there are a lot of things not only that we are doing, but other people that are my mentors that we're learning from. Now we bring back the Linkboard or even the Creator Challenge that people can learn from. So it's like our mistakes, their mistakes. What's the best practices today? What are the equipment that you need depending on what it is that you're going to do, which we're going to come back to that. So with this, I turned around 4 personal and approximately 5 businesses before I decided to go all in on it. And we created a wonderful company for 20 some years. And then it morphed into what I do now. So here's what I would say as far as number one is you got to know what it is that you want to do. Then you have to find out that there's people that want it. You got to know that there's a need, right? For instance, I'll give you another example. If somebody is really good at gardening, like really good at it, my mother was very good at that. I learned this since I was a little kid. I was the only one that really wanted to. So I was out there with her and I'm learning how to grow and rotting fish. I had to go to the lake, and I know this sounds crazy, but that's fertilizer and seaweed and all of these things that people would think is disgusting and trash actually feeds a garden.
Right.
Right? Like a lot of people don't know that. So, and then there's right things to put in the ground and wrong things. Like some things can make you sick, all of these things. But my mother was so good at it because she learned from her parents. They had Frankson Farms. And anyways, that skill, though, I hate to say this, died with her. That skill of her mother died with her. So if my mother was here, her mother was here, right?
Right.
And my mother was the one, I don't think her siblings really took to it like my mother did. Just like I was the only sibling in my family that took to it like she did. But if I would have known better, I would have learned more about it, right? Like,
yeah.
So there's that. And it starts with that. Who do you know? Who can be your mentor in the industry you want to go in? So I got to ask you, with your company, what inspired you to do what you're doing? With
basically, because I, honestly, I used to do it and used to be into it. It was just a gap in between them.
Okay, so you were like a customer first.
Well, yeah. So obviously, I was a customer first, but then I actually worked at bike shops through college and when I was younger and stuff, and always enjoyed it,
Okay.
And then kind of got away from it, went on, lived, you know what I mean? Like, went to college, got my undergrad, master's, and went to work in my field.
Right.
And then came back around to it,
Fantastic. Well, that's really where it is. You got to have a burning desire, though. So I had a burning desire of creating SaaS systems and products because I love the idea of path of many or one on many opposed to one on one. So We're going to talk about how I fleshed out what it is that I was doing. I was doing business turnaround. I created a course, and who's the yo? Hey man,
Tom White.
Oh, how funny, Tom. Good morning, brother. Permission StreamYard. We can bring you guys across if you have any questions. We're gonna talk about how to flesh out a product, how to get it to market. Get it to market. I can't say that enough. I think I'm gonna get shirts for us, like get it to market. Like,
right.
We all have. How many of you have ideas? Show of hands, like, and how many ideas do you have? Like ideas that you want to do as an entrepreneur. How many of you have ideas, burning desire ideas? Feel free to share. You don't have to share what it is. Just say like a number, like I've got many or whatever, but show of hands, like I've got ideas. Right. How many ideas do you still have on the board?
Oh my gosh. Easy 10.
Yeah. I think I'm close. I know that it's got to be north of 25 for me. Some of them I crossed out because I know in my lifetime I'm not going to get
that. Do it right. I don't say like easy 10, but probably 6. You know what I mean? That I think legit could work with some effort.
Yeah.
A few more I need to do some due diligence on.
Okay. I don't know why it's not. Okay. Permission StreamYard. I can bring you across, but
that's Tom. Tom with about 12.
Tom White. Okay. Yeah. So about 12. I know of a few really good ones that Tom has. And multi-million-dollar deals, but you got to get going. You got to figure things out. That's the key. Some joint partnerships is, so I want to talk about that because here's the thing. When you're fleshing out an idea, you've got to get to the point where you're going to bring it to the market. And that's where most people get stuck. They're always in the creative mode.
Well, see, and that's the thing that, you know, perfection.
Yes.
That's where that
Paralysis of perfection.
right. I mean, some people get stuck in the creative because they're always chasing to make sure everything's 100% perfect.
We're guilty of it. We're guilty
But
as
right,
charged. I've done it.
right. You know what I mean? But we also learn from it.
Yes.
I mean, you can always bring in 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, or make some changes as you go, but don't get stuck in, oh, it just isn't just great. I mean, if it's a great idea and it's good, take it to the next step. You can keep working on the, you know, per- perfection of it for you, but don't get caught in the hamster wheel of, oh my gosh.
I say perfection comes with time and implementation. So you implement first, and let's use the link board. So link board started out with just managing me, right? So it wasn't available to the marketplace. Matter of fact, when I created Webinar Jungle, which is this, let's be honest. Matter of fact, there was features of Webinar Jungle that I think are still not here. I always give. Here's another thing. I believe in giving. So there's some things I'm just like Webinar Jungle, I'm not going to do. So I would send suggestions to these platforms such as Zoom. I said, by the way, you guys got to do this. Like, you're going to lose the market if you don't do this. Because I love Zoom.
Right.
I love Zoom. Zoom is my number one choice for my coaching clients. It's not my number one choice. Matter of fact, I meet on Saturdays. The last few I haven't because of the trauma that we went through, or the tragedy of our family. But at the end of the day, one of the things that I did is that I lost my thought. With Zoom, is there's some things, if they don't fix, they're going to lose the market. Well, I love Zoom so much that I'm just like, hey, you guys should do this. You guys should do that. Will they do it? Who knows? They all look for that. And that is how they change, And by the way, we all should do that as well.
Right. Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I mean, like, it's funny because, I mean, just think about how much Zoom's changed since the pandemic in the last 3 years. Or how much better Zoom's gotten and StreamYard's gotten. It's also forced their hands to, people are using it more and more for more and more things.
Big time.
I'm
going to try to bring something up one moment.
No, it's funny how, like for us, like when we do the show and our shows, we love StreamYard, but for meetings with people, we're always on Zoom,
Yes. And that goes to show you, hang on. Yeah, but I'm going to keep this here because this one's a good one.
It is.
Keith, I've got a cure for you today. I got a cure for this. Matter of fact, it's a cure that I just used for myself. Have any one of you been like, you're a consultant and sometimes you don't follow your own advice? Like, sometimes I'm like, Timmy, like my brother always called me that, by the way, but Timmy, you're not doing that either. Like, sometimes, I got to realize I got to be better. Like, there was a part of Linkboard that I'm like, nope, we need this. We need this. We need this. We need this. And finally, I'm like, people are missing out because it's taking too long. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, Keith, you got to ask yourself, what can I do right now to bring it to the market? What is the number one thing needed? Usually it's the sauce, right? Usually it's the thing that makes the product. It's kind of like Facebook. Facebook, what was the main reason for Facebook?
Yeah, I mean, connecting people.
Connecting people.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you something, the byproduct of Facebook. So you'll see people that will say, I hereby tell Facebook they can't use, by the way, don't do that anymore. As soon as you sign up for Facebook, you agree to the terms of service of Facebook. Facebook didn't build its platform Well, they did build it for you, but they didn't build it for just you. Does that make sense?
Right.
A lot of people don't realize that. Like, Facebook is a what?
It's a business.
It's a business first. Okay. It first started out to get Zuckerberg and his buddies. I'm not going to use the word, but
Right.
Okay. That's how it started out. So just so you know, folks, that you'll start out with something and it will mold and flush. It will turn into something that it's supposed to be. Facebook is now something they did not vision when they started it. But let's use Facebook. So let's talk about the byproduct. When we were out with my brother and my sister-in-law, my brother was just obsessive with selfie. He would sometimes film us in the car because we listened to music that, and we're dancing because we lived. We both have, we both work hard. And matter of fact, my brother always had this unbelievable energy. Like if he's going to work on a room, like remodel, he stays on it till it's done.
Right.
We can all learn from that. Learned, I've been reflecting a lot, and there's a lot of attributes that my brother did that are not going to die, because I'm going to adopt them. We can learn from so many people around us that it's not even funny. I'm going to come to another question that's pretty good. But let's go back to Keith. So think about Facebook. Keith, what was the main thing? Connecting. What did they do? They created this platform that connected people. It was clunky. But the news realized what a tool it was. And that's what started the new version of Facebook. That was the start of that.
Right.
Was that. So if you look at Facebook, so now where has Facebook helped us, right? Once again, 3 weeks ago, this Saturday will be 3 weeks ago, I lost my brother in a horrific crash. And now I went to his Facebook. He used to message me every morning. I'm up at 3. He was up at 4. All of a sudden, ding, ding. Those dings.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And anyways, and I miss them. I miss those where before I'm like, Todd, you got to stay off of TikTok, right? Which is kind of funny. Like this crack through Africa, he would have been all over that. Like, yep, there it is. The world's coming to an end. And he was very positive too. Some things were negative, but in the most part, my brother was a very caring person. He cared for everybody. He was a connector. If there was a fight in the family, he would try to fix it. I'm going to adopt that. Did you see where I'm?
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
You'll find quality. There's qualities in you. I want to adopt that. Right. Like I made a comment. I can't imagine anyone. I'm sure there's people that don't like Timmy Town. I know that, right? Because I can be in your face sometimes, especially when I had capital. But at the end of the day, I thought, I don't think there could be anybody in the world that would say one negative thing about D. Dipple. That's a huge quality, my friend.
Well, thanks, pal.
I got it. Now, here's the thing, though. If I find that one person, I know I don't want to be friends with them because there's something definitely wrong with them, right? And I just want to be that guy. Like, I don't want to be, for instance, the old version of me. I can't say that, though. That's being a little too harsh on me because I think it was a little of me growing up. I don't know. But at the end of the day, my first was anger. We all have a little bit of a warrior in us and a little bit of a revengeful part of us. But all of a sudden, there was this overwhelming love and forgiveness and this weird, that I didn't know where this was coming from.
Right.
And I didn't want no ill will onto the family. For those that don't know, it was somebody who was wanting to commit suicide, going the wrong way, runs into my brother. My brother, in the last ditch effort, goes to save his wife by turning, knowing he's done. Obviously you're going to know that. But at the end of the day, I could have put a lot of focus onto the negative energy.
No, and you've really done a good job at that. And trust me, as your friend and business partner, and your brother, I love, what I mean? Like we're together a good bit and go through a lot together, and we kind of know each other very well. And absolutely, seeing the phases that, of mourning and anger, like you never let the anger consume you.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like you would be upset, but like you always would snap out of it, which is a credit to you. You know what I mean? And your family.
I appreciate it.
You know, like, I mean, believe me, it's hard to, it was hard to, hard to see, hard to, just overwhelming going out towards you. But like, I would see you go through the waves
Yeah.
of different emotion there, especially the first week. You know what I
Oh,
mean? And
brutal.
right, exactly. And you never let it flip you. You know what I mean? You always tried to stay, positive, and not saying you wouldn't feel it, but you wouldn't let it consume you. And
Right.
that was definitely a credit towards you.
I appreciate that. I felt like the first 2 days, and folks, we're all going to go through stuff like this. And what's cool about being an entrepreneur allows you, really, and meaning I didn't have to call somebody, hey, I lost a brother, I need a few days off. I didn't have to do that.
No.
I had to hire another coder, and I had to do what I had to do to make it so I could be available, right? Anyways, but let's get back to Facebook. So I'm going now through my brothers, and there they were, all of the, the selfies and the videos that we were saying, Todd, seriously, and he insisted on it. And thank God he did.
Right.
So think about it. The byproduct of Facebook is, let me ask you this. How much is Facebook charging you? Now, there is a caveat here, and I'll come back to it. How much is Facebook charging you for all of your video and picture storage?
Yeah, exactly. Nothing.
The downside of it is you can't hide it. Meaning, hey,
Right.
don't let anyone see this like you would with. So
keep it on your phone.
Yeah. So I pay for storage for Apple as well as Google, right?
Right.
And then it'll get full, and then they say, hey, you want more? So, but it starts adding up over time. Facebook doesn't charge you. The only downside of it is it's open to the public, meaning anybody can look through your photos.
Right.
So just make sure. But what's nice is this. I think my wife saved over 50 pictures. I've shared some videos.
Oh, yeah.
We saved all these things. That's the truck, that he passed in. It was just so amazing. So this platform that wasn't intended for that day or for our grief blessed us that day.
That's true.
Does that make sense? And that's a byproduct of Facebook.
Yeah, no, that's actually something I've never thought about. It's just the fact that, you can go back and look at that kind of stuff anytime where you really couldn't before
Right.
Facebook. Like once it was done, it was gone. It was done and gone.
Yeah.
Good point.
And so start looking at other products. Like, okay, what did they do? And a lot of times the story's there. You just look it up.
Right.
Go to trending on Google Trends, right? Google Trends will give you a huge data points. Go to Answer the Public, huge data points. You can learn a lot, especially whatever niche you're in. But going back to Keith, you can only research so much, my friend.
Right.
All you need to do is know what is it that I'm wanting to do, and is the market ready for it, and do they want it?
Right.
Remember, there was a lot of people coming to the internet in oh my gosh, let's see, what was it? Let's just call it 1996. And then they spent all this money because they wanted one on many, right? They want huge exposure. Now watch this. This is amazing. So they pitched the idea to investors. We got this idea. Sounds like that Tom Cruise thing.
Right.
I needed another safety guy. Anyways, I got this idea. And then what they did is, yeah, we believe in the idea. How are you going to serve it's going to be all online. Everything's going online. Yeah, we believe in that. So now they raise capital and they run a huge Super Bowl commercial. Huge exposure. One of them, I forget what it is. It was a sock. It was for pet. It was like PetSmart back then.
Right.
I forget the name of it. If somebody knows it, throw it in there. But it was a sock, was like a puppet, and it had something to do with like food for pets or something for pets. But it was huge. Everybody knew the name. Everybody understood the brand. Here was the problem. Too soon. The internet couldn't support it. websites were crashing. You remember dial-up? You know that noise?
Yeah, yeah.
Not everybody had internet. Nobody
Right.
trusted putting their credit card.
Card on the, yeah.
The internet wasn't on the phone yet.
Yep.
But can you imagine that they had a great idea, but the internet wasn't right for them yet? And can you imagine if it would have launched 5 years ago? You know that it would have been a huge hit because it was a
Right.
great product. And I'm sure that some of these companies like PetSmart took that idea, morphed it into their own thing, and that's what they did. That's what I'm talking about, Keith. So when you're researching, what can I do to start getting this? Do I need capital?
Right.
Or can you fund it? You and I funded stuff ourselves. A lot of people don't realize sometimes, you know, we go to the financial cliff because we are the investor in the products that we have.
Right.
Yes or yes, right?
Yeah, no, 100%.
Hundreds of thousands, hundreds of thousands.
Right. You know, and the thing I tell Keith too is like, you know, the overwhelming is understandable, but you know, like if you're, you know, researching for a business idea or a plan, you break the plan down into steps. What's just the next step?
Yes.
Don't worry about putting it all together yet. Just take the next step and then take that next step. And all of a sudden it'll start coming together on its own. You know what I mean?
Gotta know, you gotta have the why. So you gotta know, okay, what's the main, so Grub guys, so watch this. Keith, just this will really sum it up. We knew we were better than some of the products that were out there. We knew that. Then we wanted to make sure we knew that. So what we did is we put it in front. I'm going to bring some of these other questions up as well here in a moment. So bear with me. And I love this, guys. You're participating. This is amazing. But here's the thing. And Grub Guys is a hobby business. Like that's a hobby entrepreneur business that will grow into a multi-million-dollar company without a doubt. Unless I get hit by a bus, it's going to happen. Even if I did, you guys will do it. So, but here's the deal. Dee and I looked at each other. Do you remember the tasting day?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, now we know that we can source from other places. Like, so that's even cool. But we looked at each other and were like, what the hell? Like, this is amazing. So from there, it became our passion. You're a foodie. I'm a foodie.
Right.
It became our passion. Matter of fact, one of my passions is Earthy Chef, which is going to come eventually. It's on the list.
Right.
Remember, guys, we can't do it all. You do it all, you do nothing. Trust me, if you do it all, you do nothing.
Right.
So you got to know that. That's hard as a creator. When you're a creator, your mind's always going. But here's the deal. So we said, okay, so what do we have to do now? Oh, we have to build a system so people can get it. So we built a system. And then from the system, we said, oh, we can do local. But how can we get it to somebody in Florida? How can we get it to somebody all the way in California, which we're still figuring that part out, but we're that close to doing it.
Right.
And we figured that out. Then we're like, should we make the product that the product goes in, meaning the coolers, if you will? We had to do our research. We had to order from other companies, not to steal their idea, but what are they using to make sure the product is fresh?
Right.
What are they using? That's how you do it. But Keith, here's the key word here. What did we have to do to get it to market? We used the local market as our testing and soundboard. Yes or yes?
Yeah.
That's what we did. And we got all that feedback. And then we did an event thing in a facility. They gave us feedback. And we took that data and we said, okay, now what? Now what do we need to do? And we just keep that ball moving, just like football. They don't stop on the 1 yard line. They know they got to get that ball into the end zone. So what's your end zone? And even the end zone's going to be more grander with time, right?
Right.
Well, what's the immediate end zone? The immediate end zone is whatever your product is, you need people to consume it. So what is the fastest way to do that? If you need an investor, I think I talked to Keith. I'm not sure. Keith, if I did, sorry. I had a lot going on in the last 3 weeks. But here's the deal. Take them to dinner. If you need an investor, you need their undivided attention. Invite them, you pay, and maybe you invite 5 of them. That's even better. Watch this. let's say you need to raise $1 million. Okay. We raised for one of our clients 1.8 million on a Sunday. I had only 10 minutes to pitch it. And by the way, we're going to teach you guys how to pitch. And if you think that's value, let us know. Okay. Thank you, brother. It's hard to see brother died. You know, my brain still doesn't understand that.
Right.
That's a hard one for me. But so with me, when I was pitching, I had to think of the outcome. I pitched. They saw the outcome as well. They saw the value. They said yes. Now imagine you're at dinner. Make sure that you eat right, fast in the morning, unequivocally. And if you're not going to fast, I know this is going to sound wizardry. Make sure it's like an egg with avocado. That's it. Meaning, do not you got to have such a clear mind because you got to be sharp. And the best way to be sharp is to feed your brain the good fats. Trust me on this. Just look it up. But fasting makes you sharp. I can't do a morning without fasting because I need to be sharp, right? That's where all of my energy is. I start tapping out at about 4 in the afternoon. I'm not the best version of myself at 4 in the afternoon. I know that. So guess what? My low level energy activities are then. High level activities are now, right?
Right.
So Keith, what is it? What do you need? So let's use this for Keith's sake without not giving. I remember Keith, by the way. I remember our conversation. So I'm going to use a coffee shop. And by the way, I have this in mind. Another thing on my list, right? And D, I know you have these too, and they're so much fun. And you know what I got? I have a book. Once again, when my brother passed, this book is I have several of these. These are all of the ideas, all of my ideas, so that when I die, I want my sons to get it. Who cares which one runs with it? Maybe they both don't. I just want them to know. These are some of the things that I would have loved to do that I don't have enough time in this body on this earth to complete those things. But if there's anything that you guys think would be cool, I would be so blessed and honored to see it through. Something like that.
Right.
There's 2 people that get this, you and my kid. So my kids. So, and who knows if they'll ever do anything with it, but it's that don't have this list and you're constantly tapping into all of it. Go with the one thing. So let's use a coffee shop. What is the first thing I need, D, for the coffee shop? Keith, all of you are going to get a lot of value out of this right here. What's the first thing you need? I want a coffee shop. First of all, why? Why do you want it?
Right. Well, exactly. I mean, why do you want it? Who you marketing to? Who's going to be your customer? Business plan. Where's it going to be located? You know what I mean? Obviously, the coffee shop location is going to be extremely important. An idea is great, but you know what I mean? It's got to be in the right spot for it to work. So
here's my approach for this one. Okay. Without giving some things up. There's a certain bean that is amazing. And I love a really bold, really strong coffee. I don't put anything in it. I don't believe in sugar unless it comes from a banana, apple, something like that. Otherwise, I don't believe in it. But here's the deal. A very good, healthy coffee that's going to get you going, because once again, I do a little bit of keto, healthy keto, not bacon keto, right? You see people, I'm on keto and it's healthy and they're eating bacon. Sorry, sorry, but that's not healthy. But here's the deal. The product's got to be amazing. I remember thinking, how the hell do people like Starbucks? I'm drinking this Pike Place. I'm like, this is horrible. Guess what? I love it now. So even if you don't have an avatar that loves your product yet, they will. Not everybody, but there might be somebody that doesn't get it. Have you ever gone to a restaurant for the first time? It's like, oh, I don't know.
Oh yeah.
We did that with Panera. Now we love Panera.
Right.
Give it 3 attempts.
It's funny. But how many people actually do that? It's one strike, you're done.
Yeah. And here's a way for that too. So let's use the coffee shop. So what I would do is everyone would ask, is this your first time? Now there's a lot of restaurants that do that and it's smart. The ones that don't ask or they look like everybody else, they just don't get it. So you got to have the attire that shows that you are that shop, meaning a shirt with the logo, whatever.
Right.
So that's branding, Keith. You got to understand your branding. What's your logo going to look like? What's the name? Remember naming it, makes it real.
Right.
You
Yeah.
gotta name it.
Yep.
And then the other thing you got to do is where's the location, like you just said.
Right.
So we already know our product. We negotiated the product pricing. We have samples. Maybe you get people to taste those. Thank you.
It's funny talking about coffee shop because there's such a big thing. There's so many out there now. But I went to a Cuban coffee shop the other day.
Ooh.
And it was so good. You know what I mean? Like the coffee was a little bit different. Everything was a little bit different.
Oh,
and it was it was dynamite. You know what I mean? But I've never,
Now, how many people want to try Cuban coffee now? See, it's like that.
Right.
By him saying that and me, like, because I know what he's talking about. It's amazing.
Right.
But there's another bean that it's got so much antioxidant properties to it. So there's my that's my difference. Not to say other coffee shops don't have this, but we're going to push a little more of that. And then we have cards to where you reward them when they come back, right?
Right.
That's why so many places have punch cards. By the time that card's all punched, you're a customer.
Oh, 100%.
You're a customer.
100%.
Even you, like, I don't know what you could do there, but if somebody like serviced their bike or something, by the time you service it 3 or 4 times, next time they're going to buy a bike from you. The next time, like whatever it is that you do that keeps them coming back, they are now a customer. The theory is 3 times.
Yeah.
The 4th time they come back, that is your customer. First time they are not. No. They're still a prospect. Even though they bought, they're still a prospect. So Keith, what I would do is right now, I know the name, assuming I purchased the domain name. And I remember you and I fleshing out one that was amazing. I hope you bought it. Otherwise, D and I are going to do it. No, I'm just kidding. I would never do that. But purchase the domain name. Now it's real. Now, Keith, where's that perfect, matter of fact, I'm seeing his business. Where's that perfect spot for it? I know where mine is. And I'm so excited and I can't wait. Oh, no worries, Keith. Just keep going then. But you gotta come up with something by Saturday. Keith, I'm going to tell you something. If you don't name it by Saturday, you're never going to win. You have to have it. Name it. It's going to come to you. You probably have a bunch of them on paper. Let people that you can trust say, which one do you like logos. We've done that, Keith, or D.
Yeah.
Name it. By Saturday, you have a name and buy the domain name. Now you got a business that's ready to start. Then go negotiate that property that you were talking about. And if you can't come up with a deal, find another place. Or maybe, just maybe, a land deal, if it's the right person, could possibly be a partner, right? So there's all of these things that you need to come up with. Then I'm assuming based on your conversation, unless you have the funds, you're probably going to need an investor. Okay. Once again, I would invite 5 people to dinner, no more than 5 for many reasons. And you're going to pitch your idea. The reason why I invited you all here is, number one, you mean a lot to me and I trust you. And I have faith that this will go nowhere other than this table. And I also have faith that I would be honored to be any one of your business partners. But I want to pitch something that we're doing. And I want, first of all, your feedback. And 2, you have an opportunity today. You got to say that. I want to present an opportunity. Know your numbers, know your market, know your competition. They're going to ask. And understand roughly where your numbers are going to come from. You do that right, I will bet you. There was a buddy of mine that did this, and he got a check that night. Received a check that, now mind you, she had to make a phone call and say cut a check too, but he got it. He did everything I told him to do. His name is Angel, but he did everything I told. I said, take her to dinner, do this. And guess what? He did it, and he did it well, and she wrote a check. And he ended up getting the property for no money out of his own pocket. And he ended up getting the property free. That's another story for another time. but be creative in your approach. Okay, let's see what else we have here.
You had 2 people saying pets.com.
That's it. That was
Yeah.
it. Pets.com.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
is it a thing yet? Like,
Well, I mean, now it's PetSmart.
oh yeah, because they went bankrupt. Great idea. The
Yep.
platform wasn't ready for them.
Yep. But yep.
Platform wasn't ready.
Norman Eddy and
let's
Tom
see.
Wright both chimed in with pet.com.
Okay, so 1 second. Yeah, pets.com. Let's see, Tim. What is this? Oh yeah, thank you. Hard, but we got to do it. Let's see. I don't have any used by someone. Don't put it on social media. Yeah, without a doubt. Not to mention there are some people that are finding their images in ads. How about that one? So
Right.
now, mind you, they're usually these scammy companies. So yeah, you do have to be careful. I wished that Facebook would have a way that says private or make it public. YouTube, you can have YouTube lists that you can make private.
Right.
I wish Facebook would do that. See what I mean about product flushing? Facebook's got so many ways to make themselves literally make LinkedIn obsolete.
I think the only way you could do it is have like a page that's not published.
Yes.
Yeah,
that would definitely be a great way.
Is it store all the stuff we don't want to see on the unpublished page? I guess that's it. But the only way I can think about how to do that.
Yeah, but how would you upload photos to it though? I don't know. We'll
well, you log in as that page is just not published. You know what I mean? Like you know how you can hide your page or deactivate it.
Yes. Yes,
but still keep it active.
Yeah, but when you deactivate it, then you can't get to it.
Right.
Well, you can.
But as a business, as you're building a page, it's not public. It's not public yet, but you're still working on it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So whatever that mode is, I guess would be.
Yeah, without a doubt. Well, listen, we're going to wrap it up. So the idea is understand the product, get going. You got to get going. You got to name it. Make sure you name it. Get the domain name. If you're like 6 weeks still thinking about a name, you're never going to win.
Right.
You've got to put the flag in the sand, say it's now.
Right. And this is what it is.
Yes.
You don't feel like I can change it later, but at least you're moving on to something else and you own it and go.
I've seen a lot of people change within a year. I mean, you got to be careful. Right. Look at what Facebook did. I was not a big fan. Look at GoDaddy changed their logo. Not a big fan.
I mean, we're on our 4th logo. You know what I mean?
Loud?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know.
You know what I mean? Right. Like,
but I think the main version of your logo still looks the same, or no?
Yeah. No, we definitely try to keep pieces of it, but like, I mean, honestly, we got 10 variations of our logo now that we use.
Fantastic.
You know what I mean?
Like, it does, especially if you have different versions of like you have
and what you're doing and what looks good on what, or
yes,
you know what I mean? Like it doesn't. You know what I mean? Like don't get hung up on the details.
Exactly. Without a doubt. Okay, and then location. So I could secure the location right now. I'm choosing not to because we're all in on a few things. But get that location wrapped up. Now go to dinner with investors. I've got the location. Here's the product idea. Here's who my customer is going to be. Here's how we're going to reach that customer. Here is analytics on what that customer cost per customer will be. Do I have the data right now? No. But if they have faith in you and you won with stuff before, they'll go. Let me ask you this. If you think that Elon Musk or somebody like him was to go to somebody and say, hey, I've got this idea, I have a feeling they're going to say yes as soon as he says, I got this idea. Right. Because he's got the report card. Now, if you don't have the report card, you need more data. Just don't get caught up in that. Don't get caught up. Get enough and really know your market. The more you know, the better. And then the idea now is implementation. How long is it going to take to get it to the public? Maybe you do samples for now. Maybe you have a waiting website that says, hey, this is coming. Sign up to get notified. That is a great way of saying, well, Tim, great idea, but how many people would really want this? Well, it's funny you ask, John, we have this up and here's all the people these are our pre-signs. A lot of book companies do this.
Right.
Because can you imagine you have a book idea and you go to a publisher, hey, I've got this book idea. And they're like, ugh, you're a first time author. Yeah, we don't do that. You probably are going to want to self-publish first. And then when you get results, well, before you say that, I have a 2 million following. And here's how many people said, yeah, let me know when the book's available. I want to buy it. Right. Do you think for a moment they're going to publish you?
That's just it. You know what I mean? Like you're already building your list. You know what I mean? Hey, sign up. You're already building a list. You're already doing something productive for your business. You know,
without a doubt. Okay, we are coming up onto the hour. This was a good one, and this is a subject matter that's going to be ongoing throughout.
Right.
For those that are not part of our group, you just go to the group of Link Boss. And then for those that need anything, give us questions, even in not only if this is a replay, do it there. We're going to do our best to answer your questions. And then the other thing you could do is join the 52 Creator Challenge. I forget what week we're in right now because of some things that happened to me, but I promise you, in 1 year, not only will you have a business, not only will it be going, but you're going to see results. That is my bold promise to you. As long as you keep doing the work, you got to do the work. You got to do the homework. This is absolutely free. So it's 52creator.com. Join, sign up. And for those of you that are wanting to go pro and want to create your own future and you want to have mini retirement now, my brother never saw his retirement, but he lived throughout. Does that make sense? So if you own your own company and you own your own business, especially if you do it, what we're going to talk about throughout this week and next week, and that is a business that pays you while you're mowing. It pays you while you're on a beach. You can create a company to where it takes a lot of effort up front, no effort, limited effort ongoing. And it's a perpetuity type business, or what I call as obviously it is SaaS, software as a service, but it's a membership style business to where, think of Netflix. How many of you would love to have something like that? Now, remember, I have a client right now that's, Tim, I want an app, but I don't know how to code an app. I don't know one thing about an app. You find a team. It's easy. We're going to show you how to do these things. Okay. How to be an affiliate marketer to where you're making money based on other people's efforts. That's what you can do, especially to start, to raise capital. There's all these things that you can do. So if you guys are interested, you just go to 52 Creator. Remember, there's no money. This is our give back. We're helping anyone that wants to be part of this movement, and that is becoming a creator. I want to see everybody see their idea come to life. If it's one in a lifetime, isn't that cool? How many people have died that never got that one idea off the ground? How many, right?
Right.
What if you got one idea that was so profound that it changed lives? That one idea that you had an exit on of 2, 3, 5, 10, 20, 100 million, like Alex, okay, 150 million, whatever it was. How many of you, that one thing? Look at Steve Jobs. Apple, one thing. Can you think of anything else that Steve Jobs did other than Apple?
No.
He probably did, but we don't know about it because he took the one thing and ran with it. Now, that one thing had multiple products, but he was still trying to figure out what's the one thing that's going to make Apple be on the map. It started out with the one thing he thought was the Macintosh. It wasn't. It did okay, but what was it? What was the one thing that really saved Apple? Saved them. It was the iPod. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Music on a stick, like no tapes, no digital music. The iPod made it so simple that everyone wanted it. From there, where did that flesh into?
Right.
Are there any more iPods out there?
No, because they're all combined with your phone and tablet now.
Now you got this.
Right.
So now you have the Apple phone, right? And then, of course, you got everything else. But do you see how it was still the one thing that branched off to all of these things. So you could be that, like Starbucks, look at what they did. I'm telling you, all you have to do though is get going. Don't stay in the creator mode. Don't be that person that loves telling what you're going to do, but never doing it.
Right.
Oh, I've got this thing. And next year, oh, I've got this thing. And next year, oh, we've all been guilty of it. You got to get moving. You got to get it to the marketplace or you will lose. You will lose. All right. I think that is it. Pretty exciting stuff, though.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure.
Pretty exciting. Also, so Creator Challenge, by the way, I don't have it up here, but oh, yes, I do. For those that want to know more about Linkboard, we're also going to talk about that. This is what manages you. This is what manages you. By the way, we are going to take, I'll put up a website for it, but if anyone message us either here or personally in the group or the business page I'm in, we're going to choose one person that gets Linkboard for lifetime free, including you can, if you want to make revenue, if you want Linkboard, let's say some of you are going to do a podcast. Some of you have a course idea. Some of you are going to take that course idea, or I was talking about being a gardener, right?
Yeah.
$1 million brand by far. There are people making over $1 million in sponsorship, right? Being gardeners. Now, can you make $1 million selling produce on the side of the road?
must be one heck of a produce stand, man.
Yeah, you got to be an Aldi's, right? But probably not. But I'll tell you what, it's in the teaching. You will make the money. So if that's your passion, Tim, you know what? Because it's my passion too. I'm going to release this fall Earthy Chef. We're going to be filming. A matter of fact, we had a meeting about the test kitchen. Even so, at the end of the day, that's a passion of mine. I know that'll be $1 million product, a multi-million-dollar product. Grub Guys, multi-million-dollar product. Linkboard, because it serves a purpose, right? So for those of you that message that, just make sure that we are going to choose one winner. You'll get Linkboard, and that could be your sponsor. Think about it.
Right.
Especially that's going to pay you over and over and over and over again.
No, man, if you do that for, do that in affiliate, with affiliate marketing stuff, that could pay your way to do that. Absolutely.
And be excited about it. And by the way, for those that win or for those that get something free, like Creator Challenge, they say people that pay for things do it. People that get it free, kind of like, don't do that. Take advantage of us. Like legit. Take advantage of us. Let's see. Is there any more comments? Whose farm is huge? I don't know what that means. Oh, you mean Aldi's?
No,
I didn't know if Aldi's had
he's saying that there's a family in Northeast that makes $1 million.
Oh, I see that.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. But look at, you take Keith. I love it. Keith comes up with some great stuff. Look at this though. A family says, you know what? Let's go big or go home.
Right.
Right. You in your industry, I know of some other bike shops, but they're not doing what D-Dipple's doing. You're going big or go home.
Right.
That's what we're talking about. Go big or go home. Keith, I want you this week. You're going to name it. Don't get hung up on the name. See if people love the name and then own it and then go from there. Do variations of it, but I know you can do it. The Cleanse Farm. I'm going to look at that. Awesome for sharing that.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, the iPod. The iPod was a great. So yeah, so for those of you that what was the word?
What?
That they have to text to get it for free? Let's see who's paying attention.
You got me on that one.
You might have to go back. Type that word in, and we are going to pick a winner. You get Linkboard for free. What does that mean? You just use it to promote. It's going to manage you. And anyone that you say, hey, you need Linkboard, you get half of that lifetime as long as they pay their bill. You could get $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
So anyways, but we're going to pick a winner for that. All right. That is it for today. So D, once again, thank you, brother.
Oh man.
stay on.
Yep.
Got a couple things we'll discuss. Everybody else, once again, Saturday. Oh, some people didn't get that. Just go into the group. You'll see where there's a tab. I think it says trainings, and you'll find those. So always just look there. We're going to try to clean that up. That's another thing that Facebook can do better. It's not organized right. You could tell that we weren't part of their
No.
the SAS,
No.
bill.
Trying to find some of their stuff sometimes is
it's
It
it's
can be
just not
challenging.
as great.
right.
But you'll get there. Not to mention inside Linkboard, we have a better platform now to where it'll be in both places. But if you want to ease of use, it'll be there for you. So you don't have to go through the group for that. The group mainly is for all of us to help one another. So if you guys have questions, go into the group and participate. I kicked out 2 members. Okay. They just never participate. By the way, it hurts our algorithm and it hurts the group if you don't participate. Just participate. If you're stuck, like Keith, hey, I'm stuck on this. Or we have an open NDA that nobody steals ideas from one another. Just be careful. I'm not an attorney, so be careful with if it's really something that you worry about. But use the group to help you. Hey guys, I'm stuck on this. Or hey, I've got 4 variations of a logo. Which ones do you guys like? 1, 2, 3, or 4, right?
Right.
That's your sounding board. That's your testing. My goal is by May to have 2,000 members in Linkboard, the group. So, alrighty, you guys have a great weekend. You'll see us next week as well, live, and we'll go from there.